It's 3:50 in the afternoon here at Pacific Standard Time. You know, it's so funny. I love that I got a chance to use this. This is royalty-free music, custom created by my good friends at Song Division. That was actually made at my conference. So if people are looking to figure out how do I add music that doesn't get flagged here for social media streams, do yourself a favor and support the artists around in your area somehow. Ask one of them to make you a custom piece of music and then use it and then give them credit. If you're watching here on social media, do us a favor, go subscribe. If you're on YouTube, ring the bell, hit share if you want to help amplify this, link or like or comment. And if you comment live during the show, I can see you. And we'll actually maybe comment or talk to you back. So thank you so much for that. If you want to subscribe to this amazing podcast, you can go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online and subscribe on any one of the 13 favorite podcast locations that you love to listen to. And if you want more, even more engagement, come to the Engaging Conference. This is my 5th conference. We do it the way I want to do it. And this is the first year we're doing it hybrid. I'm so excited. I actually bought two 65-inch televisions, and we're going to show you how we're going to use them to engage the virtual audience in a way you've never seen. Go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/con for a free ticket, or consider the VIP, or for the first time ever, the in-person ticket for one of only 150 people. Well, the sun's starting to come out here in Seattle, and I believe this gentleman too says that the atmospheric river is finally not running over his head. He's got a role in event infrastructure services. He takes a meaningful role in the community and in industry engagement lead. He's with Encore's Asian Pacific Islander Business Resource Group. I love that he's championing support. Yesterday, he was a very active member and participant and in the audience of our Asian Pacific Islander Speakers Showcase 2024. I appreciate that. I also love that he's a board member 2021, the 2022. Is that right? The 2022 term? For MPI's SoCal chapter. That's what's on here on the piece. And this guy is really values mentorship, advocacy for inclusion, and leadership. And I just can't get to wait to know him even better. Please welcome to the stage, Khris. And I didn't check pronunciation. Baizen. I'm going to check and see if I got it right.
Baizen, thank you so much, John, for taking the time.
I didn't ask. All right. By the way, MCs, listen to us, right? Make sure, ask for phonetics from Phonet people, all right? So, Khris, no, let me say, Khris Baizen, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
Now
correct.
I'm going to shove you off stage. Let's welcome again, one more time, the one and only Khris Baizen.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for having me. I love being an active participant and avid supporter of you and what you have created yesterday and curated a bunch of high impact, high visibility. You know, these API speakers yesterday it was such a transformative event, and I'm so glad we were able to uplift and advocate for them. And there's even a lot more that weren't able to be there yesterday.
Yeah. And I think I've heard some meeting professionals complain, going, well, I can't find any Asian Pacific Islander speakers. You're not looking.
You're not asking.
We're out here. We are out here. And you know, that we struggle like I think a lot of other speakers do. And so we're excited to have that opportunity. All right. Well, before we get into that, because we're going to talk a lot about that too, Khris, why don't we just do us a favor too? For my friends who don't know you yet, they need to know you. I love what Courtney Stanley's like, right? These are stories that need to be told. These are voices that need to be heard. Let's hear yours. Khris, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, John. My name is Khris Baizen. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am wearing a blue blazer, lavender shirt, and wireframe glasses. And I identify as a multicultural Asian mutt, if you will. But because of that, I'm able to kind of be a chameleon in the cultural landscape and tune in and have a pulse in the neurodivergent community, in the disability community. I'm also hard of hearing. Being that I spent most of my childhood, my young adulthood, being in the margins of society and of community. So because of that, I am able to now celebrate my differences and empower others to do the same.
Beautiful, Chris. I do want to give you a shout out or a lead. One of my good friends now is, I believe, either the president or CEO of a company called DopplerLabs.ai.
Doppler Labs, okay?
And so the key is that they actually have a hearing aid that is
Mm,
programmable. So what happens is that one is that you get the hearing aids, you put them into something that's on a tablet,
mm,
and number one is that it will customize for you, so it knows your hearing pattern and then
yeah.
changes for it. Then you can customize it, saying I'm going to a concert, right, or I'm going to a
Hmm.
library,
Yeah.
and will adjust that hearing for you. So, tech.
Yeah. I'm also part of a guinea pig kind of program with Plantronics. We have something
Oh,
similar where
oh.
I have it with my iPhone and we're able to kind of tune in my audiogram into concert. You're in a restaurant, you are, face to face in a board meeting, so it can there's a directional mic, so you can kind of tune in and kind of make sure that whatever conversation and environment I'm in, it's gonna do the same. Also, it can louder environment.
So I recently got a pair of iPod or AirPods, and it's amazing to experience the value of that. So it's done things like great noise cancellation, and it has also done things like being able to tune what's going on there. Okay, so let's see. Hey Chris, this is John. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, good. So your video froze for half a second. I was like not sure that Chris was still here. Okay,
Yeah.
good. The real Chris is here, not the Chris AI Chris. Okay, so let's go back and talk a little bit about yesterday. So just again
Yeah.
for context, yesterday was the first time ever that we ran the Asian Pacific Islander Speaker Showcase, and it had all Asian Pacific Islander speakers. I just did the statistics. It was 82% women, Chris. Only 18% men. And I found that fascinating as a fact. And we ran, yeah, all 24 speakers in approximately 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it, I think it evoked some emotions that I was not expecting. So that I would love to hear from your audience seat. What did you think, or what did you experience from your side? And this
John,
is
can
the
you hear me?
best part. Oh, yeah, there we go, Chris. Yeah, your internet may be struggling, or it might be mine. I'm not sure, but I do see some signal on my side. Maybe.
Maybe it's the AT&T outage again from this morning coming back, but I am now logging into my secondary router.
There we go. That's a
Yeah.
true event professional, right? Always a plan B, right, Chris?
Redundancy is key, John. Redundancy.
Yeah, that's one of the tips that I gave over the pandemic, which is have a
Yeah,
plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I,
that's
J.
true.
Right? Yeah. So.
All right.
Okay, let's see. All right, so your video looks stable, so that's fantastic. I just want to hear what were some of the experiences or thoughts or feelings that you had yesterday as you watched all these speakers?
uh, Feelings I had is we can talk about more than just DEI. We can just talk more about more than just our lens on this topic. We can talk about finance. We can talk about burnout. We can talk about mental health. We can talk about so many other things. Um, Someone that looks like us doesn't have to be cornered into a specific topic,
Right.
or not only in May, but all around different topics. We have so much home run talent of speakers around. Just ask, just know who to ask, just know where to ask, and we will point you to a lot of different impactful speakers.
I agree. And some of the challenges why I did this
Hmm.
is because one of the things, so I created a group called API Event Profs, right? So we encourage you to join. I'll put it in the chat. And it was formed over one of a couple of the challenges, and speakers is one of them, which is, again, statistically 6.5% in America, that are Asian Pacific Islanders. So if you had 100 speakers, you should have six and a half of them should be Asian Pacific Islander. And there are
Yeah.
multiple conferences where there are zero Asian Pacific Islander speakers. There are also boards
Mm.
where there are zero Asian Pacific Islanders, right? I know of a board that we're talking about, and it just doesn't. Like the number of Asian Pacific Islander CEOs is also
Mm.
really low statistically. You know, it doesn't match the population if you use that as a guideline. So I think that's why it's so important to elevate those voices and try and figure out how, you know, can we reach a place where we would see more of that.
Yeah. I love that. And right now, my mentorship program, we are
Mm.
working on the cultural aspects of why that is how it is, how we are so, you know, quick to just not be in the spotlight, not be in the limelight, but just be in the background and just work our hardest, keep our head down. But the more we empower and we um, let our emerging professionals know that hey, your voice matters, and this company or this organization, this community is you can co-create the culture here instead of try to fit in. So just it's a slow process. The marathon is not. There's no oh by 2024, by 2025. No, it's something that it's going to keep on going, and people like you and people like people yesterday are going to help give them that. Oh, there's someone that looks like me on stage. I can do that. They give the inspiration for that.
What if we created a speakers bureau called Beyond DEIB?
Hey, I love that.
Right, all BIPOC right speakers, but none of them talk about DEIB.
but
I
but mo our
Yeah,
most of the people that would call us be like, hey, but do you talk about DIB?
yeah, that would be the ironic part, right? If they
Right,
clock 67% of the revenue, you
right,
know, it is true, right? You know this, Chris, and I love that you identified this
right.
because I know a lot of meeting planners, I know a lot of conference
Mm,
planners, and sometimes they're like, I've got a DEIB slot.
yeah,
And while at least it's progressive that they're at
right.
least thinking about it's better than nothing, but it is also like, why are you not thinking about that in the keynote, like the content
Mm.
part, right? What? Why? What?
It's
So,
like it's a small steps is what the speaker Van Lydemon yesterday told us. It's small steps, and then pigs can fly. We can be on the keynotes. That's when pigs can fly.
oh, here's the best part too. Next time you talk to her too, Chris, make sure
Yeah.
and you would pronounce her name Vun,
Vaughn. Okay.
VUN. I think I have the phonetic in my file. So because yeah, DJ'd and I did your name wrong. I'm just going to do you the favor that next time you see Vun, and that's actually one of the cultural tips, which is if you
Yeah.
don't know how to pronounce somebody's name, self-admit like I might have done it
Mm,
wrong. I mean,
right.
obviously the better part is prep, which is you get it right the first shot. But sometimes, let's say you meet somebody in the audience, you're reading their name tag, so you don't know. Then you're going to say, "I'm going to take a guess," or "Could you do me a favor?" You know, say your name and say that and repeat the name. Jolene
Yeah.
Jang, who is in the audience, I think you know
Mm,
Jolene,
yeah.
that she did a whole video about a gentleman who had a name who has a click in his name because that's
Oh,
part of the language.
yeah.
She said it took her a week of rehearsing his name before she could say it correctly.
Hey, kudos for her to investing that time. That's commitment to inclusion, commitment to actually learning fellow human beings, first gift that they're given, which is their name.
And watch out for her. I know she's going to keynote next year because
Yeah.
she only didn't keynote because she just took a 22-hour flight from Japan to Seattle and smartly said, I think I'm going to pass this time. All right, let's look into this one, Chris. How did you get into the events industry?
How did I get into the event industry? Well, I spent about 12 to 13 years in the advertising marketing space. I am
Ooh,
relatively new in the event industry,
ooh,
and in the advertising marketing space, we know the importance of hearing diverse voices and the inclusion aspect so we can garner a better audience for our clients that are trying to reach those demographics for, consumer goods or services or whatnot.
yeah.
But when I came here to the event industry, it was like a hard, metaphorical slap in the face. It's because there was where's everybody? Where's all my people? Where's everybody that I'm used to talking to? That's when I found Jolene. That's when I found API Event Prof, Jenny Ng, all those, supporters that we have now, Joan as well. Um, and that's where I began my journey of, okay, we don't have this now. We only have a few people. How can we get emerging professionals out there? Just like how you said about um, the name, how we can pronounce their names correctly.
Yes.
More than half the time, younger professionals don't even try to correct, you know, the other person when that happens. So that's just part of the mentality of, hey, I'm not gonna correct someone, make waves. I'm not. It's kind of a people pleasing mindset in a way, because that's how our survivalist mindset went when we were colonialized,
Yeah.
oppressed. So a lot of the intergenerational trauma went through, and now we are having that. We experienced that, not knowing about why, or not knowing that it's part of our upbringing. And yes, there's a resilience factor that is we wear as a badge of honor, but it also is a detriment to our own personal visibility, our community's visibility, and how we are able to get leadership positions out there.
Speaking of which, right? Look at, I mean, it's super shout out. Oh, look
Yeah,
at that. I got it this way. Wait, watch this. I got this really cool new view I've been working on. Hold on. This is it. So shout out here. I'm going to get us
yeah.
out of the way too. Right? We got to give our friend here, all right, some amazing shout out right there like that and this. We just Gary Murakami, who I think you
Yeah.
also know.
Mm,
All right, these are all the cool kids in the events industry. Sent this to our event profs group. You got to get into our board, Chris, because we meet regularly, and those are some of the best conversations I have in a year.
it would be an honor.
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
put you on the list. I'll put you on the list right after this. That Jenny Ng, our very good friend
Mm,
here in API Event Profs too. And she didn't give me any warning too. I do want to give Jenny like a little admonishment, going, "Why didn't you tell me so I could have like hyped you up?" And that's exactly how Jenny is. She's like, I'm just
mm,
gonna fly under the radar and then
yeah.
just smack you down, right? This is so great, right? Beacon of inclusivity. The articles too, I've read
Yeah.
portions of them, very on point. What do you know? Wait, can like take a moment to love on Jenny and
Yeah.
also just give her some kudos for this is what we need to see more in the industry.
Yeah. The past 2 years, I've quietly been, being in touch with Jenny and how we can be better crusaders in the industry. I
Yeah,
finally met her a few weeks ago in San Diego,
yeah.
and quietly she's been recommending me on the side for different stuff. Like right now, because of her recommendation, I am the vice chair of the MPI Global EDI committee.
Yes.
Um, and this same magazine, like I was interviewed twice and put on a podcast from the same publisher. So a lot of the things that Jenny does is also support our API voices on the side, and she doesn't even let people know until like after the fact. Oh, yeah, I did that. Like, oh, come on, Jenny, thank you. Anyways, but she's
That's
such a
great.
strong supporter and such a key individual in our industry.
And so one of the things I think I've been discovering too as being part of the API event profs is how do we give our cultural pieces and our natural
Mm,
tendencies and turn them into superpowers? And this is one of them, right?
mm,
This ability to mentor or elevate
mm-hmm.
somebody and really not take the credit for it
Right.
is like often in Asian culture one of the things like that's what makes me different. I'm like one of the most extroverted Asians you're ever going to meet, and the way though that Jenny does this stuff, I mean, I think it's even more powerful. I
Mm,
occasionally get accused of self-promoting, all right, and I understand that, but I don't mind because like where I'm fighting against so much previous
mm,
history, I think sometimes that's the way to be done.
right.
And there is some genius in the way that Jenny does that, so that I think it even further elevates you more
Mm-hmm.
and creates that even greater connection of authenticity because she's not doing it for herself. She's doing it for
Mm-mm.
you.
Right. And the thing is, I'm so glad that the people at MBI, the editors, acknowledge that fact and see not only what she does and her effect and her influence, but her name on so many things. They're like, oh, who is this Jenny character? And then that's why, like, okay, Jenny, who are you? Well, why are you everywhere? And that's how this cover came to be.
And she's a mom on top of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got way higher priorities
Oh
than
yeah,
you and me and this friggin' magazine, and she still finds a way to get it done, and that's the kind of uh, do itness I think too that we got to do as in the Asian culture. So
yeah, I love it.
yeah, me too. Well, all right, let's hop back here. So cool though. So many great things that are happening. So like let me give you I'll give you an example of one of mine. I love to hear an example of one of yours, Chris.
Right.
Recently I am the founder of API Plus
Mm.
NSA, which is
Okay.
Asian Pacific Islanders. The plus actually came in our discussion in the first meeting. It's a nod to LGBTQ plus is saying let's encompass all the stuff we haven't thought about. And then NSA is again is not we're not the security people, we're not bugging your phone.
Right.
This is the National Speakers Association. And so I'm the founder of that group and the association is celebrating its 50th
Mm.
anniversary. So the inverse of that is it took 50 years, Chris. And Asian speakers have told me they're like when they used to go to the conference, they're like, well, there's one of me, where's everybody else?
Mm.
And that was the genius of yesterday. So many
Right.
people go, oh man, every single one of us.
Hmm. That's
So I'm
true.
curious, what are some of the? I love the break free that's on there. What are some of the things that maybe either you're proud of or that you instigated, you might have started
Yeah.
as part of the way you do things?
Yeah. One a lot of things I'm proud of is the effect, the impact of how inclusion and belonging is more meaningful and intentional, especially at the place where I work now, at
Yeah.
Encore. Uh, in the past year, we have started a group to um, kind of support and have a community for people of different abilities. They're called Enable.
Mm,
Also, we launched last year our API BRG, which I'm a founding member of and active member. I'm also a part of the Well-being BRG about mental health, mental well-being, and promoting that in the men and women in our community as well. So there's a lot of intersectionality that happens with the vast tapestry of diverse cultures that we have and the team members we have. And the more that we're able to kind of provide allyship for each other and provide support and encourage one another, the more that we can do so for our customers and for our partners as well. So I like that we're building something from within so that we can go ahead and impact. We can be what I call architects of impact towards the world. So because we're the largest, event production company in the world, we have, I think, the duty to do that, to change from within. And because of that, then we can affect the type of um, impact that we want.
well, Chris, one of the things that you work for Encore. I mean, there's really
Yes.
this is Encore is often it,
Mm,
right?
Encore is a big, big name in the industry. But I'm so happy to also be a part of a department that event infrastructure services. What we do is we help venues
Mm,
with their infrastructure, internet power and rigging,
yeah.
uh, design and integration as well, digital signage. But we help invest their funds that they get from the city or their private investors into something where John, you can come in, or your friends that are planners can come in and make sure that their event can come off without a hitch. Even ones that are not Encore manned or Encore office, we provide the consultation and the advice for the infrastructure to be able to hold um, virtual meetings
Yes.
and high impact meetings.
Yeah, yes. And one of the things I'm curious, well, why Encore? Like you said, you were not in the industry.
Hmm.
There's lots of choices too, of course, in the industry. So out of all the locations, why Encore? Why did you choose Encore, Chris?
I chose Encore. It was a plan B, to be honest with you, to be transparent, because
Shh, don't tell Encore.
I was I was in the advertising space. I had my own company. I had my own agency.
Hmm.
And
Congrats.
then I, needed something in Washington D.C. because I was in the West, and I moved to the East to my then girlfriend proposed to her, and now my then fiance. So I went to live on the East Coast, um, just be with her. I couldn't find anything. My biggest client at the time, who was 80% of my revenue, was a car company you know, who does he it's basically Toyota. Who
Yeah.
they took away Scion that year, so that's
Mhm.
I have no more cash cow, as you say.
Yeah.
So that I had to go for Encore. I was in a lineup to talk to PayPal, and then next to it was another um, P company, PSAV. I'm like, okay, let me talk to this person while I'm waiting for PayPal, and and then here I am now. I went from, being in sales to different kind of sales, moved up, was able to be selected as the sales director for Beverly Hilton. So I had
Oh.
a lot of exposure to different award shows that went out over there.
Oh.
And because of that, I learned different ways of interacting and kind of getting more impact out of the dollar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, now I work from home, better work-life balance, and now I'm here talking to you.
No, wait, where are you located? You're in SoCal now, right? You're back from DC.
I'm in Los Angeles, uh, sunny Los Angeles now. Um, but yeah, still in
Well,
an
well,
apartment.
I'm a member of the failed relationship club. So later on, I'm not on this interview. We will have a beverage and we'll talk about it.
We will.
One of the things that we talk about, that I like to talk about, is that the pandemic did open up a whole nother section of AV. And what I mean
Mm,
by that is like you can take not very expensive equipment. And if you
right.
master it, you can do some extraordinary stuff,
Mm,
right? That's
yeah,
sometimes the challenge of Encore. And also, a lot of course, meeting planners are complaining about this right now
yeah.
about the skyrocketing,
Mm,
AV costs.
right.
So they actually opened an opportunity. This is what I tried to tell people. I'm like, there's the do-it-yourself Zoom, that's
Yeah.
zero, or the members. So there's the 100 grand or more for some
Mm,
setups are like start
right.
at 100 grand or you're in a studio,
Yeah.
and now there's middle space is
Mm,
wanted and desired,
right.
and now kind of affordable, especially in virtual, because we don't have to
Mm.
travel, we don't have to set up the gear, and there's all that other stuff. So, what are your some of the things you teach your clients for maximizing AV dollars and investments?
Maximizing AV dollars. So the biggest thing is internet when it comes to hotels. Um, People are used to getting a gig or close to that at home, and they think, oh, Encore or in-house AV, I need this type of speed, and then they get hit with a dedicated line just for them, skyrocketed price, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to come here anymore. I don't want to use you guys. Well, okay, let's do your first day. Let's do a bandwidth reporting on that to see how much you actually use. And then after, the 4 days afterwards, we tell them you don't need this. This is what you actually need, and then they have a better understanding. It's more re-education of what they actually need, because internet at home versus internet in a hotel or a meeting space is totally different. And the more you can dedicate for event critical needs in the hotel space and your meeting space, the more you can. I think that's the biggest thing you can do and understand to get your cost lower on AV by understanding what you actually need and how much speed and bandwidth you need.
Yeah, so how much you need plus a gap for like,
Yeah.
variance, as opposed to I need a pipe. They think they need a pipe this big,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like champagne on a beer budget.
Mm,
Although the inverse is really catastrophic. For like having a client list, I used to work at Microsoft, so
yeah.
having a client like Microsoft that is
Mm,
super tech heavy,
mm,
and virtually every break, when everyone
mm,
came back into the main space, the Wi-Fi collapsed.
yeah. And we've noticed that the past year because the Apple had some update where if you have your MacBook or your Apple has the Wi-Fi password, They
Yeah.
can share it to your friends. They can share it to their devices. Now, some event that's supposed to have only 100 devices, now it has 500 devices, and now it crashes the network. That's why we now shape our VLANs and our networks to have separate for the meeting, separate for the registration, separate for the production aspect. So that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it only happens to the small part and the non-essential part of
Yeah.
the event.
Well, I feel like in Meeting Planner 101 too, the first thing you ever do in an in-person meeting is choose the venue. And
Mm,
good friends like, of course, James Spellos, even
mm,
before the pandemic, said, do the tech walkthrough.
yeah,
He gave a checklist and he gave, the tools, like even speed tests, all the simple things. But there are a few things you don't know, you can't see or do, which is simulate your 1,000 people all on Wi-Fi all at once. But you got to ask the questions, right?
yeah,
So I think that's part of it. And then on the virtual side, the metaphor is choose your venue first, which is whatever your platform is.
yeah,
And so there's lots of different platforms, and also what is the foundation under that platform, because there are a lot of platforms. I'm doing this up here,
right.
and I'm actually only on Zoom or something else down here, or I'm on some browser thing down here, and all of those things make that is the core decision you need to make. So for instance, if you are doing an in-person or hybrid event, you need to know that that place has the Wi-Fi to support
Mm,
the level of live streaming that you do, or you got to bring in the portable stuff, right? So, Chris, I don't know, is portable a big thing? Like bringing in event-based temporary Wi-Fi. Is that an Encore thing that is becoming a bigger business or not?
yeah, so we do work in a lot of venues that are quote unquote historic. We're
Yeah,
not able to upgrade their infrastructure because of they some some things that are in law that we're not able to get in the building in the infrastructure. But we do cool stuff like bring in temporary Wi-Fi, bring in a 5G connection from AT&T, Verizon, things like that.
yeah.
The air fiber bandwidth from another venue to that venue in order
Oh,
to
oh, I
increase
haven't
their
seen that.
bandwidth.
Oh, actually, I take that back. I saw this on an island. There's an island in
Hmm.
Indonesia, Chris, that
Yeah.
has some form of antenna, and it's taking the internet from the mainland to the
Hmm.
island, which is close enough, and creating Wi-Fi on the island. It was super cool.
Yeah, our director of IT successfully did that in the island of Palau a few years ago. And we've been using that as a case study where you can have internet and Encore will meet you where you are, even if
Yeah,
you're off site.
yeah,
Um, and anything is possible. I think we're totally an end-to-end solution, but we also have a lot of new people that don't know the full breadth of services
yeah.
that we are able to do. So that's another thing that's from the pandemic. A lot of people, either moved on to other industries
Right.
or went to real estate like I did. Like 50% of the people over there went to real estate and then went back to, you know, either AV or something else. But we have a lot of new people, a lot of movement as well. And because of that, a lot of retraining is currently happening in the past year and also in the coming 2024. That's a big thing for us is retraining.
So what's amazing too is I've tested both T-Mobile's 5G home internet and the Verizon 5G home
Yeah.
internet. And like these are crazy solutions because the
Mm,
T-Mobile's $50 and the Verizon when it came out was
yeah.
$25 a month.
Right.
And I currently use that, and it actually solves a lot of problems because it means that I'm on my own Wi-Fi. It means I don't have to rely on the
Hmm.
company. And it started from a venue that said, "Oh, we have Wi-Fi," and then they gave me the cable and I tested it. It was
Hmm.
1 megabit per second. It was a point of sale Wi-Fi.
That's
It was
amazing. That's more common than I would like to admit. How, you know, we're like, oh, I need internet. Oh, ask more, dig deeper. What kind of internet? Well, what do you need it for?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and internet's like water. Like if you don't have water at your event, you will
Hmm.
have a catastrophic failure of people falling down, right? When your data falls down, that's how important data flow is in your events now. Speaking of data flow here too, well, I gotta ask this question, right? So what, and it could be any in-person, hybrid, virtual
Right.
for you, Chris. What has to happen in a meeting for Khris to be engaged?
For virtual, I would need captions. Other than being hard of hearing, I'm also, neurodivergent, ADHD. So I need that to read the dialogue as it's happening. And the biggest thing that I forgot, is interaction. I need interaction, being engaged not only in person but online. If I am my videos on, and like you had so much inclusive best practices that you did yesterday. You welcomed people, you celebrated the attendees as they came in, you acknowledged their reactions, you acknowledged their comments, things like that make someone that is just dipping their toes in a conference,
Yeah,
make them want to stay, make them
yeah,
want to engage. And even though if they can't verbally, they can do so non-verbally. There's so many options
right.
um, to be empowered to contribute to the meeting. So I love that there were so many good things from yesterday.
Well, thank you for that. And by the way, too, I went back. I know about visual descriptions, and I
Hmm.
didn't use it yesterday, but
Yeah,
Dave did, and that was extraordinary. I'm going to go back and revisit that. I think I'm going to
yeah,
open all of my keynotes this year with visual descriptions. I know it's a best practice,
yeah,
but I'm not actually doing it, and I think that's the other key. It's not what you know; it's what you do.
right. It's
Okay,
Dave
did you?
Leong, and I know that Jolene also does that.
Yeah, Jolene will always
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let me just say this. Okay, so do you have the Zoom captions open?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Did you know you can drag and drop them, move them anywhere on the screen?
I do now.
Ready? Oh, wait. I got a sound for that. Ready? Woo! Yeah, you can drag and drop them. And so, like, for instance, you can put them underneath me. So therefore
Okay,
you
yeah.
can, right, you can see all my facial reactions, blah, 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 but you see the captions, and so you
Hmm.
can focus into one area and get all the information you really are looking for. So
I think that you can also resize it, and yeah.
yeah, I thought I saw the resize too. Oh yes, left and right, size up and down. So those are some things that people don't know. I finally too tested the American Sign Language version of Zoom's feature,
Okay.
and it provides a completely separate video. It
Hmm.
gives you the option to turn off on or off ASL, and then you can drag and resize the window anywhere that you want.
Hmm.
So imagine you put ASL like above my head or below my
Right.
body or somewhere where it's useful for you and the size that you wanted. And I thought that was a really cool way for Zoom. Zoom is, I think, one of the best. I don't know. I haven't not tested anybody else's ASL interpretation, but we did use it in a recent program and it was very successful. The replay is also really cool
Hmm.
because if you run it to the Zoom cloud, the majority of content will be on the screen and the ASL person will be in the top right. When you
Hmm.
share screen, you will also see the share screen, the speaker, usually a smaller version of the speaker, and the ASL. So all of those are available also in the recording. So it handles it well.
I think
Um,
Zoom has one of the most elaborate and biggest R&D division out there, and they just test whatever works. And I think that's why virtual meetings will never go away. It's because it can be so personalized that someone or anybody of any ability is able to not only, receive content from a conference, but also being able to, contribute or interact or just be a part of it more so than ever.
so speaking of that, right? Participate forever, right? Ideally, virtual is not going away. Although I got hurt last year a little bit as a small
Hmm.
business, Chris. It was less than the 2 years before when the demand was so high. The return to in person really happened, at least financially for me.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about you, Chris. Right? What is the future of virtual and hybrid for you, Chris? What do you
You
see?
know, what's funny is I actually was part of the Google XI community. I still am, but this past in our January meeting, we were introduced to a place called Nowhere. It is a platform. It is a virtual like metaverse type of platform
Yeah.
where you can interact with someone. You can move like you're in a room without having a $3,000 device on your face.
Oh.
So
Using flat screen in 3D, or is that something else?
no, using your computer screen. I have two screens right here. I can use this to go around the. It's like a video game type
Yeah.
of
Right.
thing
Yeah.
where
It's
you're in your
Doom for
world. Yeah.
Doom for corporate meetings like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
good.
so
Yeah.
is you think that's the future?
I
What like 10 years or 20 years from now, what do you either predict or have a wish that would happen?
the biggest wish is that the one thing that doesn't that the virtual will never have over a live in person is that networking aspect. And I think that the networking aspect, someone will figure it out. Someone already has, but has not given it out to the public. And I, I love to see that happen where it's more organic, it's more intuitive, and you get those endorphins and then dopamine of meeting somebody. And yeah, I think that's what the future is. And the more we can do that, the more we can uh, meet somebody or meet a lot of people where they are and have so much more flexibility of our times and have more time for our family, for our friends, for our loved ones, for life.
Well, Chris, look for an upcoming event. I believe we're going to partner with Lucid Meetings, who's got some extraordinary new research about how education and networking is effectiveness in both in-person, hybrid, and virtual. So I think you'll be highly interested in it. It's really cool research. I think there's part, and Chris, I invite you to. We have a virtual happy hour every Friday at 5 o'clock, and I would love for you to see how I approach networking
Okay.
in a virtual and hybrid, and you'll see that here at the Engaging Conference, but there are lots of other places that you'll see it too. And we've done some great things. We've had some extraordinary, funny things, and it's usually the unexpected things. It's the authentic things. Sometimes it's the mistake things, Chris,
Mm,
that are the things that we remember the most. Here, I got a New York. Since you were East Coast for a little bit, we had a karaoke session, and a woman who was 62 logged
mm.
in, found our karaoke on Eventbrite, and said, "Oh, I just wanted a place to sing When I'm 62 by the Beatles."
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
So she's saying when I'm 62, and then like an hour or two later, it was like 2021 or so,
Mm,
pandemic, like a mask discussion broke out,
mm,
okay? Because that was the hot topic then. And we're talking blah, blah, blah. People are arguing, blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, she was like dark, like her whole screen was nearly black
mm.
because she didn't have enough light on. And then she just leaned into her mic and she goes, "Just wear the effing mask, would you?" And all of us hit the ground because we were not expecting that from her. And it is like one of the most precious moments of a pandemic that we've ever had. Oh my gosh. So, Chris,
Yeah,
we got more time. So, I'm going to actually do
yeah,
a little
of course.
extra time here, thing here for you. Let's see. I got to make these up. Okay. This is what we call speed round.
Got it.
And then the second part, Chris, I'll give you the advance notice, which is I'm just going to ask you what's the one thing that you want people to remember from this interview. Okay, so speed round. Ooh, favorite Asian Pacific Islander food.
Pad Thai.
Oh yeah, pot. Okay, very good. Soda.
Dr. Pepper.
What you eat for breakfast?
I did not eat breakfast today. Fasted cardio. So
Love that answer.
yeah.
Uh, Coffee, tea, or boba?
Oh, the boba part like threw me. Earl Grey tea boba is is my answer.
What is that? Does that even really exist?
Yes, I had it in London over Christmas, and I was like, why did I not get this before?
Wow, I didn't even know that drink exists. I have heard of a London fog and a few
Yeah.
other related items.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a side note. Have you ever eaten at a Linea
Alinea?
in Chicago?
No, no, I have
They
not.
they had an Earl Grey pillow.
Okay.
They had put Earl Grey smoke
Mm.
into a pillow, and then what they did is when they put the pillow on the table, they poked it with like a needle and stuck
Mm.
the plate on it so that the Earl Grey smell would come out while
Oh,
you are looking at this dish.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
you're a fog of Earl Grey around you. Yeah.
Okay. Best culinary experience.
Best culinary experience would probably be Florence. They had these big 2 pound steak. Um, the big beef steak with the tiramisu. It's amazing.
Oh, you're a meatitarian, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Favorite protein.
Favorite protein would probably be fish.
Oh, after that big ass
Yeah,
steak story.
I love poke. I love sushi. That's for every day. But special occasions, steak. I try not to eat red meat, but then special occasions like over Christmas,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
I love
Prime
that.
rib. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite fish you like to eat.
Favorite fish would probably be albacore tuna.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Best place you've ever eaten sushi at.
Best place I've ever eaten sushi was oh, it's a place in Baltimore called Raw Sushi and RA Sushi, and it's the ambiance of it. It's more of a nightclub vibe. I was younger at the time, but that's experience wise, that's the best experience I've had.
This feels like part of your DC days.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if you're in Baltimore, it's part of your DC days. Okay. Favorite country you've ever visited that's not America.
It would probably be Monaco. Is that a country
Oh.
or municipality? So I went there for my honeymoon. We went to see the Grand Prix. Amazing, amazing experience.
I missed the Las Vegas Grand Prix too. I am an F1 fan, but I am not a big enough F1 fan apparently to buy a ticket, so I will wait for that. But I would
Well,
go.
you're just frugal. That's what you are.
Oh, but I did. My dad did buy me seats. In the childhood, I felt like I got robbed out of a seat
Mm,
to the Indianapolis 500 because
okay.
my grandparents worked at Eli Lilly. So the
Okay.
Indy 500 was a thing. And so later on in life, I told him this, and he goes, I'm going to take you. So he took me and my other brother, and we had premium turn
Mm,
one seats
yeah.
with a bus that took us in and out. And that's a cool experience. That's a cool.
Do you remember it? You're so little.
No, 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 no. I got robbed of the trip. So what the story went is they promised me that I was going to go, and then they told me later, like, oh, we don't have enough seats. You can't go.
Ah,
And I was pissed as a small child.
heartbreaker.
I don't think I have regrets over a lot of things. I'm not usually pretty
Right?
bad. I was pissed about that, Chris. I remembered that and I kind of
Oh,
held that with me and I like the fact that we got to clear that.
yeah. We'll find a sponsor. Take us to Indianapolis 500 for you.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Best event experience that wasn't you weren't working at.
Oh, where I was not. Probably 2018 Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh,
Yeah.
same, same. Okay.
Yeah.
Best live music performance you've seen.
That I've seen. I don't know if it's the Backstreet Boys back in the day, or was it the recent Boys to Men from PCMA in San Diego last month?
Oh, I heard
But
that was good. I heard that
yeah,
was really good.
I would just have to say Boys to Men last month because I remember it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. What were some of mine? We just saw Postmodern Jukebox. Do you know who that is?
No, no,
They
no.
do popular tunes in the style of ragtime.
Oh,
And the guy has crossed over 1 billion views on YouTube and it's one of the best live shows, right? They do Backstreet Boys, but they do it in the styles of the 30s or 40s.
I'd love to bring them in for an event sometime.
Oh, look it up. Postmodernjukebox.com. No brainer.
What are you about? Yeah.
Yep. And let's see, favorite dessert. I think I have
Favorite
one.
dessert? Right now it's tiramisu. Or no, no, no. It's a leche flan.
What?
Leche flan? It's a Filipino dessert. It's custard with caramel.
Ooh.
It's so good. Melt in your mouth.
So like Mexican flan, but Filipino style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Filipino style is like it's with extra diabetes.
What's your wish for 2024? What do you wish would happen in 2024?
Uh, that's a good question. I wish that there would be uh more voices uplifted.
Mm.
A lot more people would be more understanding of everybody else going. You don't know what people are going through, so why not be kind? Be kind to one another. And I just wish that this coming election cycle, no one will kill somebody. So it'll be peaceful.
Well, good luck in America with that one. But that's a great wish. I wish that every day. I mean, like, who needs to solve a problem with a gun? Really? Is it that important? Come on. Just walk. Like, that's a case where I would be okay if you just walked away. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I hopefully you're going to be at WEC MPI's World Education Congress. Both Jolene and I will be co-leading a session we're working on right now, and we would just love to have you there. So I want to do that part. And the last question of the day, Khris, if you could get people to remember, right, like really remember one thing from this interview, what's the thing you want them to remember?
I want them to remember that they missed out yesterday on a big API event showcase. And I'm still riding on that high from yesterday, same as you. And I'm like, why can't we do that more? So that is the one thing I want to get out. Hey, you missed out yesterday, but you came here, come next year. Or find any of us that was there yesterday and, encourage and kind of raise awareness for our speakers.
And speaking of which, Khris gave me the best email. What did that email say? You said what resounding, like every time you talk to people afterwards, what were they saying?
That we want more. We want more.
We're going to give you more. February 26th will be the API Speaker Showcase 2025. I'll put it in the link and apply to speak. Everybody who spoke this year will be on the selection committee for this year. We want to find the best Asian Pacific Islander speakers and put them on the stage. Khris is going to help me do that. Actually, I think Khris is going to be on that stage. Is my potential assumption. Khris, thank you so much. Chris's LinkedIn link is there. Do the favor, click the connect. That's the thing that Khris was saying, right? We need to figure out how to connect. And look, we can do it virtually. Yeah. LinkedIn is actually one of the coolest ways to do it. Go to Chris's part, click connect, and look for one of us at your next Meetings Professional event. Khris, thank you so much for a little bit of your valuable time today and being on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast.
Thanks so much.
This is John Chen. We want more. We want more of all the good stuff. And it doesn't matter what affinity group you are with. And if you are not represented on stage and you finally see an event where everybody is represented on stage, you're overrepresented. Is there even such a thing? Not really. We want more. When you hear people say we want more, give it to them. That's value. That's making the world a better place. And that's engaging. I'm John Chen here on the Engaging Virtual Meeting podcast. We thank you and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on engagingvirtualmeetings.com or .online where you can subscribe to the podcast. Thank you so much, Khris, and we will see you next time. Oh, I love that I put Anna's music on. Okay, wait.
Yeah, I love Anna's music.
Best interview ever, Khris.
I love it.
This is my new part. We just scream over the closing credits.
I love it. Let's scream over it.
Support Khris. Click on his LinkedIn.